I have a million questions for you guys, but I like starting off with like a curve. For all three of you, if someone has actually never seen anything you've done before, what is the first thing you want them watching and why? And don't include this project because obviously people are going to watch.
You know what? I wish people could watch my plays, but that's impossible. I wish, but only because you have such a long time to sort of craft it. You get in the groove, and then once you're in that groove, the play closes. So I wish that people could see like the play the day before it closes. That's like my, that's on my wish list. But alas, can't. Live theater.
I feel blessed.
Oh, they saw
and but
you guys better come to my play. You guys gonna come?
I'll fly out for it.
Yeah, I have to. It's up till April.
Oh, perfect.
Steven?
I was going to say, where was my invite? I got
Steven, I have a ticket at the will call every single day for you. You'd never stop.
For sure. That's definitely going to work.
If I had a project that I wish people would watch that wasn't this, I would say Little Voice. That's my favorite one. It was like, it was music, it was heart, it was dogs, it was, so lovely and like a little, it's like the purest thing I ever did in my career in film and television.
I would say like some, the music I do with my brother. I think that we just put out a new song. I'd say some of that, or I did a movie called Palo Alto when I was like 17 and it changed my life, in a lot of ways. And I'm really proud of that movie and it just means a lot to me.
Jumping into why I get to talk to you guys. This is one of those series where you're trying to figure out everything as each episode is going on. So I'm curious, how much were you told about Regus's ultimate arc and how things were going to go when you first signed on? And how much were you sort of finding out script by script?
It was script by script, but we got like this incredible pilot script where you get the entire tone is set up. And then there's this huge twist at the end. I screamed when I read it. And so I was like, I have to be a part of this. I even chased it. And the rest of the scripts were like Christmas presents. You just get it in the email and you'd be like, oh my God, I can't believe I get to do this scene.
Yeah, sure. I think Tony, his mind is like a maze. I don't think I'd want to go in, but I like where it's going. Patti was sort of light in the first few episodes. So when I signed on, I'd only read the pilot, or I'd only auditioned with the material in the pilot. So I had a long conversation with him, and he didn't really know where he was taking Patti, like how things would essentially play out. But he did know that he wanted to take her from A to Z, as far as like she starts off as one thing and is her life completely unravels by the end. And I remember once he floated the idea of decapitating me violently. That didn't work, or it didn't come to pass. But I was kind of looking forward to that. So I think he really did find it as it went, and that's part of why it feels so, I think, strange
and immediate. It feels immediate. It wasn't like based on some overall outline. He was really going with his gut.
Yeah, I feel like when I was presented with the material and to audition with it, I knew Tony would tell me that Elaine would have to really struggle with her moral compass and be pretty influenced by Patoff. But it was pretty elusive. I didn't really know which direction she was going to take, and what choices she would make and how she would do it. And it was on the fly, and I feel like that's what it would have actually been like for Elaine. So it was really fun and a good challenge.
I normally don't ask this question, but I have not watched Christoph work on set, but I've interviewed him a few times, and he is an interesting person. He is Christoph. And I'm just curious, what exactly is it like working with Christoph on set? And I'm curious because the way he is in real life is, and I guess the term is interesting.
He's so unique. He's so uniquely himself. And I've gotten so lucky getting to work with a lot of great older actors. And he's, I think, the best experience I've had. I think he really is. One of the reasons that he makes such a great villain is that he actually has, in his own strange, unique way, a real warmth and a magnetism that you're just drawn to. And yeah, it's like a dream. I would pinch myself after doing that scene in the Hummer with him, all day. I'm like, I cannot believe that I get to be, in this, doing these scenes with him.
I think he's absolutely brilliant. And it's so kind it's so great to work with an actor, your heroes, or don't meet people that you look up to. And this is just a real treat to be able to work with somebody who is so authentically themselves. And through that authenticity, there's kindness and creativity and honesty and brilliance and a genuine generosity to open his heart to us as actors. And I felt it all the time when we worked together. And it was such a gift.
He's like an onion. You're just constantly peeling at the layer. Because when you first meet him, you think, oh, what an unusual person, because he is very still, but he's also very curious, and he wants to know about the minutia of your life, the shit that you think is the least interesting about you. He wants to know. And I think that's probably what makes him such a great actor, is that he really wants to get in and see how people work and what they're going to bring to the table. But as far as a scene partner, it's, like everybody was saying, it's just like playing on like a championship team with a star player. He just he's gonna serve you the ball every time, and it's gonna be perfect. And all you have to do is just keep your eye on it, and that's it.
Maybe he's like I don't know, LeBron James.
I would never say that, because that's what you said about him.
Aimee's like she's like the interview thief. You say something that's good, and she's like, she snaps up and then says it in a more eloquent way.
I'm very curious about how actors prepare for big moments. So for all three of you, hypothetically, you have a huge scene on a Tuesday, something that's going to be emotional or really dramatic. It's going to require a lot out of you. How early on are you actually preparing for that moment? Is it like when you first get ready to start shooting? Are you really going into like hardcore mode the weekend before? For each of you, can you sort of take me through how you like to prepare for a big moment?
I always think that it's either like you do it on the day, or you spend a good amount of time. Like, having done plays, you don't have the benefit of the freshness that comes with like saying something for the first time. You have to really find it, and it also becomes kind of like a muscle. So I find, for me, it's like, if I don't have the time, if I'm doing an audition or something, I won't rehearse it too much. But if I have some time with it, I really have to. That's more fun for me anyways, to dig in and find through my imagination, like find what it must feel like for this character. And something that I learned from Nat too, like I was doing a play at the same time I was doing the consultant. He sent me like this playlist or a few songs, and I used that still, like to really get my head and I hadn't up to that point used music as a way in.
But for this or for your play?
Both.
For both. Oh.
Yeah. I think that the preparation process is pretty different for each character. And I would say for this, having these scenarios in the back of your mind, and then to have a balance of being prepared, but also, like as Aimee said, having that sense of freshness. I think, and also being open and able to be flexible and collaborative with the people around you. I think that's super important. And just present. I think that was a big part of the process, at least for me on this particular job.
I like to keep some set through music or through relaxation or through, I like to keep some semblance of the mood of the scene in me and in my body. And then at the end of the day, I like to just let it go. But I usually try to, it's like sometimes if you let it go at lunch or something, then there's a bigger hill to climb to get back up, So sometimes I'll try to stay in that zone for the time being. It's actually ends up being less energy for me than the up and down.
It's so fascinating how there's just no right answer. And everyone I speak to has a different process. But anyway, congrats on the series. I hope it's a huge hit for you guys. Thank you for giving me your time.
Thank you so much, Stevie.